Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 5. My name is Idowu Akinde. Everyone calls me ID. This is the 5th episode in Season 2 of our series on startup building on how to think about startup building, called the Dear Founder series. I'd like to... Okay. So today we'll be talking about something called the good problem, okay? Some really, really smart people at global leading accelerators like Antler and Y Combinator came up with this, label, right? This name for this particular method of problem analysis or problem filtering or problem analysis, right? Essentially to know what type of problem to chase after, right? And so the good problem is a way of thinking about a particular problem along the lines, along multiple axes. So if you remember our second topic in this series called the pain opportunity matrix, we dealt with an X and Y axis, where X axis was the pain severity and the Y axis was the market size or opportunity size, okay? Roughly speaking, loosely speaking. We find that sometimes it's useful to consider other attributes of that particular problem, okay? And so if you look at the good problem, and at this point, I think it might be useful for me to share my screen so that we start to make some sense. I'm not just talking rhetorically or theoretically. There you go. So the good problem is a method that, unlike the pain opportunity matrix that actually just takes in two factors, what's the pain severity and what's the opportunity size, the good problem takes in 6 factors, okay? Okay, so painfulness, and if you look at the axis very well, if you look at the chart on the board very well, painfulness is pain severity, popularity is opportunity size, right? So remember that with popularity, with the opportunity size on the pain opportunity matrix, we're always asking, how many people can I find who are experiencing this problem, fuel scarcity, power blackout, nationwide blackout, who are experiencing this problem on a scale of 7, how many people can I find? Can I find up to, in a country of 200 million people, can I find up to 150 million people that are experiencing this problem, right? If this is a problem that can be solved or if the solution to this problem can be packaged as a retail solution, you can be sure that you will make a lot of money, because people, when you ask them for money in exchange for the solution, their brains will automatically kick into the gear and ask them subliminally, whether they went to school or not, unconsciously, how much are you asking from me? Maybe you're asking $2, or maybe you're asking $100 from me, right? Okay, so let's use Nigerian currency. Maybe you're asking for 10,000 naira from me, right? A one-off solution, okay? Or maybe 10,000 naira per month, okay? Just for discussion purposes. In exchange, as a solution to my national blackout problem, okay, that affects 150 million people, right? So you're thinking, so the thinking is, if you ask people to pay 10,000 naira, the thinking is per month, okay? The thinking is, if I don't adopt your solution, how I am managing this situation, however I'm managing this situation today, however efficient or inefficient that I'm managing this situation today, is it higher for me or lower than 10,000 naira per month for me to continue managing this situation the way I'm managing it, this painful situation the way I'm managing it? And essentially that's the DNA, that's the core, that's the spirit of that pain opportunity matrix. Sorry, this is another problem. This is a good problem, but we're just making a reference to that one over there. So back to the good problem method here. The painfulness is the first axis. If you follow my mouse, okay, painfulness is the first axis. Popularity, essentially the opportunity size, is the second axis. The third axis is popular. So painfulness is pain severity. Popularity is how many people can you find, okay, that are experiencing this. Frequency is slightly different in the sense that frequency asks the question, how many times does this occur in the life of your people in a given time period? And this is where our sine wave now, makes some sense. You are trying to find out what's the frequency of the problem. So is it a problem that occurs multiple times per day? Because in Nigeria, you can have blackouts multiple times per day, right? You can have power outages rather than blackouts, power outages multiple times per day. Or is it a problem that occurs once in 6 months, right? So the frequency is also important, right? So that's that. Next is the urgency, okay? Urgency means, is this something that, like a crying baby, forces everybody, when it occurs, forces you to drop whatever you are doing and pay attention to it, okay? Forces you to, demands urgent attention, okay? Demands urgent attention. That's urgency, okay? Growth rate, I love this particular attribute, okay? And this growth rate is always very, very insightful or useful when you are communicating. We'll get to that later in one of the later series, when you're communicating your market size. It's always useful and really, really beneficial for investors, for you to communicate to investors that you found a problem that today is experienced by 50 million people. But according to projections, by next year, 70 million people will be experiencing this problem. By the next year after that, 85 million people will be experiencing it. By the year after that, 97 million people will be experiencing it. There is nothing as attractive to an investor as a growing market. Sometimes founders rush into problems and try to solve problems without doing this kind of deep thinking that helps them spot that certain problems are actually reducing in growth. So maybe this problem was experienced by 200 million people 3 years ago, 150 million people 2 years ago, 100 million people last year, and right now it's actually at 50 million people, maybe 75 million people. The trends are clear. This problem is, nobody's going to be experiencing this problem in another 3 years. So no investor will put money into that kind of problem. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to how you analyze your problem. So we started by saying painfulness, pain severity, popularity, how many people can you find that are experiencing at that level of severity, frequency, how many times does it occur in the lives of the people who say it occurs in their lives, urgency, does it require urgent and immediate attention or action, growth rate, okay, is this a growing problem or is it a shrinking problem, okay? And then unavoidability. Unavoidability here talks about whether or not there is, people can ignore the problem, okay? So can people just, or either people can ignore the problem, or whether or not people can use another alternative other than your solution to solve the problem. Okay, so that's the kind of thing. And so if you think, and like I said, Antler is one of the leading accelerators around the world. They're really popular in Europe and North Europe. Actually, they have some presence in North America. They have some presence in Africa as well. I think they're in East Africa, but they haven't really broken into West and Southern Africa. But essentially, this is what they call the good problem. So if you hear one of your investors say, refer to the good problem rubric or framework, or mental cognitive tool for analyzing problems, this is what they're talking about. Now I have a question for you. Please drop the answer in the comments. Between problem X and problem Y. If you were a startup founder who was trying to choose or pick which problem to solve, which would you solve? Would you solve problem X or problem Y, given the explanation that we just gave? And just to round up, painfulness is severity. Popularity is how many people can you find experiencing it at that level of pain. Frequency is, excuse me, how many times does it occur in the lives of your people given it within a certain time span? Urgency is, does it require immediate and urgent attention? Growth rate, is it shrinking or growing? Number of people that experience unavoidability. Can there be an alternative, either in terms of a solution or in terms of just ignoring it? So that is. Please give me the answers. I look forward to seeing how you respond in the comments box. Thank you very much. On that note, let's close this particular session. It's been a pleasure once again. Thank you for tolerating my hallucinations. I'll see you on the next one.